Our grocery budget ends up being $4.50 per person for everybody in our household, and I want to teach you how I'm able to grocery shop thinking months ahead and being able to stick in that grocery budget. Hi, my name is Amy Cross, and this is The Cross Legacy if you're just meeting me. I base our grocery budget on $135 per person per month in our family, and I try to be as organic as I can. I try to also give myself a little bit of grace if it doesn't fit in our budget, and I just want to get what's at the store that I'm at. Being an allergy family, we also really concentrate on the ingredients that we're bringing into our household to make sure that they're safe for everybody that's here. So this is my grocery shopping trip for November. It's actually November 17th. This video will get put up on the channel within a couple days, but this is also my Thanksgiving grocery shopping trip, and I won't go back to the grocery store again until mid-December. So we're going to talk through some of those produce items that I get that are in season, and I'm really excited about switching out the new produce items for things that I'm kind of tired of and not buying during the winter time. And then we'll talk about some of the dairy and meat items and some of the items that I'm thinking about to restock our pantry. The first part of this video will also just concentrate on Costco items. That way you can see what I went in to get at Costco and didn't blow my budget. If you're brand new to my channel, we film all of my grocery hauls so you can see all of the ingredients that we bring into our household, and we also put out a meals video every 2 weeks to show you how I rotate meals throughout the year, and we always have new and exciting meals. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified for new Cross Legacy videos. We're going to start with my favorite thing for the winter time that is back in season, and it's these huge pomegranates that I got at Costco. We love using these as late night snacks, and we watch Hallmark movies and eat these all evening long, and I love that it kind of takes a long time to get through one, but I do have a video with tips on how to get the seeds out a lot quicker. Normally during the winter time, I take a break of berries for strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries. And that way when we get into season again, it's really exciting and new. Right now is grape harvest season, so we enjoy having grapes in the fall and early winter. But it is cranberry season, being right here in November, getting ready for Thanksgiving. I love making my own sauce, and that way I can control the sugar levels in it. And then I can also put some away in the freezer. Now make sure when you bring fresh cranberries home that you're washing them just like you would wash blueberries, and then you can store them in a jar in your refrigerator and they will stay fresh for a really long time, or you can put them in the freezer, but it's important to wash them first. I love that it is getting to winter time and the oranges are starting to get in season again. They haven't been in cold storage, and you can double check the little tag on them to see when these were packaged up. So this tag says it was 11/07/2025, so I know just about 10 days ago these were harvested and put into the bag. We always have lemons. Mike drinks a tea every morning and he uses half a lemon in it. These are kind of small being at this time in the season, but as we get into December and January, we'll get great big ones again. I did get a package of limes. I don't need these all right now, so I'm going to end up washing these and squeezing a bunch of these to put into the freezer, and I can put them in my super cubes in 1 tablespoon measurements, and that way I can pull them out whenever I need them for the next couple months. I always get one of these 6-pound bags of carrots. We go through this entire bag over the course of the month, and I just laugh at how many times I'm making dinner and I have a little container of carrots sitting out on the counter and I'm munching on them as I'm making dinner, and anybody that's walking by is munching on them, and then I don't worry about the side dishes during dinner so much. I was able to get a ton of bell peppers during harvest season that I put in the freezer, so just for fresh eating peppers, I got the little peppers that we can use to dip in hummus. I got some microgreens. This isn't something that I normally buy. Oftentimes I will just make them on my windowsill, but I wanted to show you how I'm able to keep these fresh longer, so we'll be making a little video on microgreens. We love having hot bacon dressing on spinach salad in the wintertime. So I make sure that I have that mixed up in the refrigerator and we can use it whenever we want to. But we always have some fresh spinach, and then I like to keep some of it in the freezer also so I can pull it out and put it in recipes. I bought some raisins. We were out of these in the pantry and I like using them for trail mix, and also I've been hungry for some carrot cake and I wanted raisins in it, so I made sure to grab some of these. This comes in 2 separate bags, but I normally open them up and I put them in a glass jar with a metal lid, which will keep it airtight and they'll stay fresh for a really long time. We have some videos on our old pantry. We are in the process of painting the floor and reestablishing our new pantry here in the new house. But there's some great videos here on the channel talking about glass storage and also vacuum sealing. So we will make sure to link some of those videos in the description if you're looking for them. And I was so excited when I was going down the rows and I saw the sun-dried tomatoes. So this is a shelf-stable item until you open it, and then you can store it in the refrigerator for up to a year. But I have been looking for these for months and they haven't been at Costco. So they are currently at my Costco. I also love getting maple syrup in the glass bottles. Now, they don't have these at Costco all year long. They are normally available late fall, early winter, and this year they have it with a clamp style top instead of the screw top, which I'm kind of excited for because I had one bottle that we were cranking so hard on it, I thought the bottle was going to break trying to get the lid off. This was one item that I actually ran out of, and it was kind of funny that I was going to make sloppy joes the other night, and I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to get it at Costco or just get one bottle from the grocery store, but it was such a good deal to get the 2 bottles, and it's good for over 2 years. I seem to use it a lot in recipes. We were down to about this much, which is about 2 cups of flour left in the house, which I store in a glass jar with a metal lid. And so I made sure that I restocked our flour going into the holiday baking season. So to restock my pantry, I did get 20 pounds of flour. This is the organic all-purpose flour, and I will store this in glass jars with a metal lid, which is completely airtight. This will get me all the way probably through the next year into the next holiday season, but you want to make sure that you're storing any of your flour properly or your bread and items won't rise. I'm not going to try to lift this because it's so heavy, but we also stocked up on some jasmine rice. So I got a 25-pound bag of rice to start refilling some of my pantry items that I have here. But we also keep rice in our long-term storage, and I want to make sure that's always rotated out. So I'm going to use up the last of the rice that I have in a Mylar bag and put it in the glass jar in my pantry, and then this will go into a Mylar bag, which will go into a food grade bucket, and that way we have our food security restocked again, and we're rotating those items that we bring into the house. So I had an empty gallon-sized jar here in the kitchen where I keep the rice, but in the long-term storage, I was down to this much, and that is about when I start putting things on the list again that I need to buy. So I'm making sure that we always have the ingredients in our house that we can make many meals, but we also have food security in our home. And then while we were at Costco, I did grab a turkey. This is a butterball turkey. They did have some organic ones, but I was making sure that I was sticking in my budget for this. And since it's something that we only use a couple times a year, I wasn't too worried about getting it organic. But I was excited to see that the organic ones were only in the $45 range, but this one was only $19. I think this is a really good reminder that you need to do what's best for your family and your family's budget, but a fed family is best, however you manage to do that. But this is honestly the first time in many, many years that I've paid for a turkey, because normally I will hit the sales to make sure I get a free turkey. But that free turkey sale doesn't start until the 19th, and we wanted to make sure that we get this video out so you can see it in time to go shopping for Thanksgiving. Since I'm in Washington and I don't know the sales across the United States, I would love if you guys could comment where you're from and if you're hitting a turkey deal, what store, and what's the minimum you have to spend. I know that in Washington, the Winco sale doesn't start until November 19th. And I believe every grocery shopping trip needs at least one little splurge, and that was this dark chocolate caramels that we love. So every winter we get one of these tubs, and I love being able to pull them out when we have guests. They're perfect for charcuterie boards, but they are also a nice little sweet treat. And they were also on sale, so they were less than $10. And I made sure to get some sweet potatoes. This is something that we always have for Thanksgiving, and we don't have them with marshmallows in our house. We have them exactly how our grandma used to make them, which is with brown sugar and butter, and it is so delicious. Since we're talking about Thanksgiving, as I'm in my grocery planner, I do have a list of all of the sides that I'm going to be making for Thanksgiving. And then over the years, I have made a sheet of all of the things that I make every single year, and I list out all the ingredients and all of the items. So I can go and easily check that I need butter for 3 different items and how much I need, be able to look at the recipes based by the ingredients. I think it's really important to do this, especially if you make the same sides and dishes every single year. And with that, besides like seasonal produce and making sure that I have the turkey, one of the only other items that I need to get for Thanksgiving oftentimes is the cheese that I do for our broccoli casserole. And I made sure to get that ahead of time in October, and it's been in my freezer. And since I'm holding the grocery planner, I'll show you a little sneak peek of the list. These are things that I knew that I needed to first go and look in the pantry and see if I had some. So as I'm just thinking of things that I need that are going to go on the grocery list, sometimes I'm marking those off even before I leave to go to the store. And then as I'm at the store, I keep track of the item that I bought and I write down how much it costs. I always round that up to the next dollar so I don't ever make any mistakes. And then on my phone calculator as I'm going through the store, I also keep a running tally on my calculator to make sure that I'm staying in budget. Now we'll go to the eggs and dairy, which I kind of laugh about the eggs always being in the dairy case, but they're not dairy. But we got a 24 pack of eggs. I still have a little bit of eggs left from the last time. If you're wondering if they are still fresh, we just put up a video on the float test for eggs so you can check and make sure that your eggs are fresh before you go to use them. And I did get some Greek yogurt and some cottage cheese. If they had an organic variety of cottage cheese, I would buy it, but I just get the one that's available at Costco because it is the best deal. But when you store these in a glass container with a metal lid that's completely airtight, it will last about 2 weeks past that Best By date. I noticed that the Best By date on the cottage cheese was December 4th, which is before my next grocery shopping trip. So I will make sure that I get these in glass right away, and then this will spread out until the middle of December. Last time when we went grocery shopping, we got milk, and so we didn't need to buy milk this time, but I did get some half and half to make sure that I could have this to add to some of the recipes. And I love buttermilk in our mashed potatoes, but you can just take some half and half and add some vinegar to it, and it will turn it into buttermilk. So I didn't need to spend an extra $5 to get another container for one dish. On this page in my grocery planner is where I keep track of everything that I have spent. So I made sure to write down the Costco total, which was $227.51. And then I will show you what I bought at the grocery store. These are all the items that I got at the grocery store to supplement the items that I got at Costco, and that way I can round out all of my meals that I'm going to be making over the next month. I made sure to grab a head of romaine. This will also go with that spinach that I got at Costco so we can have fresh salads throughout the month. We have videos and tips on keeping lettuce fresh. If you're interested in that, there's no more slimy lettuce in your refrigerator. And I did get some kale. Since we normally use this as a cooked recipe and it's going to be Thanksgiving, I'm going to need the fridge space. After I wash this, I will cut off the stems and I will just put this directly in the freezer, and that way I can pull it out throughout the winter. I got 2 bunches of celery to go with those carrots, and I have a ton of onions in my pantry. That way I can make turkey stock after Thanksgiving, and that is my favorite stock to make all year long. I just got 1 avocado this time. We didn't need a ton with us going into late November and December. It seems like we don't eat avocados with nachos as much. I think this is also a good reminder of having a seasonal rotation of meals. So we still like to have tacos and nachos occasionally in the fall and winter, but normally we are having more warm and cozy meals, so we don't need as much avocados and other produce items like that. But we're switching to other things like Brussels sprouts. I have a really great roasted Brussels sprout salad that we love. We normally eat it in the wintertime and in the spring, and it is just really delicious. We'll have that linked in the description. This is kind of fun. I have just set these in here because I want to keep them kind of perky, but this is the new bunch of parsley that I have purchased, and this is what is left of the old parsley that is from last month. I will be washing this and trimming the ends and putting it back into some filtered water in the refrigerator into a clean cup this time. But I wanted to show that this was still all attached, and then this is the one that I bought in October. I picked up some parsnips this time, which these are in season, and I love having them as a side dish roasted. And we also got some beets, which Mike likes roasted also, which is kind of a funny thing that when you keep trying to incorporate something into your diets, sometimes it takes 28 years, but they decide that they like them. And I love when I can get the skinny asparagus. They are my favorite. I don't like the really thick ones that are really woody. So I love being able to have asparagus. This will actually be enough for probably 2 dinners for us. But storing them in a glass jar with the water like I do the parsley, they will stay fresh for a month. I have a pile here of zucchini, but I did get some green zucchini and some yellow squash that I'll be adding to recipes. But when I peel these and then add it to any of my ground meat dishes, then I'm not so worried about adding more sides to it, and I'm sneaking vegetables in for my family, which also stretches our grocery budget. And it being almost Thanksgiving time, I did get some thyme that I'm going to be able to wash and then keep fresh for the next 10 days, 11 days until Thanksgiving. But I also have sage and rosemary out in our planters for our house. We just moved into a new house, so I don't have all the herbs that I had in our old garden, but those were one of the first things that I planted in our planter boxes, so I would have sage and rosemary for Thanksgiving time. Bananas are one of those things that you want to try to get organic as much as possible, and it will help you save money because organic bananas are not sprayed with ethylene, which is a growth ripening hormone, and they will ripen slower like they were intended to ripen. If you can keep this wrap on the top as long as possible, it will also help the ethylene that's naturally produced inside the bananas not spread and make them ripen quicker. But the most important thing is never to store bananas, apples, and oranges together in a bowl because they will all make each other ripen really quick. And just a couple of pantry items that I grabbed. I did grab some garbanzo beans because when I was at Costco, I saw the small peppers and I wanted to make some hummus. So I wanted to make sure that I had garbanzo beans at home, and I wasn't sure if I had them. So this was a really inexpensive splurge of an item to buy. And then I can make hummus cheaper from scratch. And because Mike was with me, he wanted to get a peanut butter. So we made sure that we got one, which is a backup for when the one in our pantry is empty. So for the totals for all of this, I spent $30.48 at Winco, and then I had ran into Grocery Outlet to buy the Brussels sprouts because I forgot I wanted to use them in December, and that was $4.79. So overall, my entire grocery shopping trip was $262.78, which is under budget. And that's also getting everything that I need for a holiday, and we have more company in town. For those of you that have been following this all year long and watching my carryover amounts that I keep in my savings account, my carryover amount year to date was $213.91. What I had left over from this grocery budget was $7.22. And so in that grocery account, I have $221.13 left over, and I can use it however I want to stock ingredients to bring into my house. Right now, I'm kind of focusing on getting some of those long-term food items that I need, and then I switch over to start putting money aside for the next bulk meat purchase that I do. If you have any questions on buying meat in bulk and how I fit that into our grocery budget, we did an entire series on that to help walk you through how we do this, and we're able to keep everything that we need here in the house. The most important thing is the average family is throwing away 40 to 60% of the things that they're buying because they're not rotating things in their freezer or their pantry, and definitely they're letting too much of their produce go bad. Make sure that you are following this channel, and we have hundreds of videos to help teach you all of the tricks to save money on groceries. This is our zero waste produce guide that goes through 75 produce items listed A to Z and all of the tips to keep them fresh, plus 40 recipes in there with those ingredients that I have in my house all the time. And then this is our grocery and meal planner. We have 5 different covers for these, and you can start them at any time of the year. So make sure that you're checking these out. They're linked in the description, and there's a special discount code.